Glad to have you join us on the big interview segment. New Dawn, right here on OGTV, the People's Telly. Well, it's the conversation where we get to look at pressing issues really affecting us in the society. I hand you over to my colleague, Moses Ojeumi, who is actually going to do the prologue to the conversation.
Yeah, good morning. Well, this morning we are looking at a crisis that has resurfaced again, and that's xenophobic attacks in South Africa. And we're asking critical questions, looking at why do these attacks happen? Who are affected by these attacks, and what does it portend for African unity? So, join us this morning, two gentlemen. We are right here in the studio, Dr. Idris Oni, lecturer at Crescent University, Abeokuta. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. And via Zoom, Dr. Olayinka Oyebile, a media executive. Good morning, Doctor. Good morning.
Thank you very much. It's Oyebile.
Oyebile. Oh, I beg your pardon. Dr. Olayinka.
Yeah, good morning.
Oyebile. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Right about now, the raging xenophobic attacks, Dominic.
Yeah, let me begin. They say charity begins from home, so I'm going to be starting from home. When I mean home, I mean the studio. Now, we've had this wave or cycle of attacks for no less than 3-4 times now. What begs really question is what is really, the root cause of this ugly scenario that we are experiencing in South Africa, where nationals would actually, turn against, foreign nationals, and then they begin to tell them to go home, and then either attack them, kill them, or burn down, their properties.
Thank you very much. I want to say that what we are experiencing in South Africa at the moment is part of the human nature. Humans are naturally inclined towards violence. The only thing is I always want to find an excuse, a reason for us to be violent. So the bad ones among us always find a way to, exert their violence, their power over other people. Xenophobia is a kind of a prejudice. You can call it the other form of racism. Okay, prejudice, hatred against a particular set of people who are considered to be non-indigenous to the land. And there are so many causes for it. In the case of South Africa, we can say that some of the causes include bad governance, which is a major problem across Africa, high rate of unemployment, the competitiveness in the available resources. The indigenous people want to say that, okay, these resources are ours, these jobs and this and that are ours. But we have these foreigners who have come to our country, like Nigerians, Malawians, Zimbabweans, and so on, who are also competing with us to enjoy the benefit of these jobs. And then we are now having limited opportunity because these people are probably more educated than we have, probably more intelligent, probably more hardworking than we have, so more skillful than we have. So they have more to offer, and then what they have to offer. And then we begin to become jealous of them. I want to take back from them what we believe should be ours, but which we might not actually, be worthy of having, because in the world of competition, world of opportunities, it has to go to the best of the best. And this, like I said, bad governance, lack of employment, high rate of unemployment, and then some rhetorics that people have been putting out, particularly in South Africa, speaking against Africans of other origins that are here, they are doing bad, they are committing crimes and all that. Of course, we cannot forget the fact that the Africans who are non-South Africans in South Africa that are committing crimes. We have, for example, Nigerians who are into drugs, living in South Africa. We have Nigerians who are into cultism. A few days ago, I saw a video of some Nigerians in India who belong to 2 cult groups fighting violently. So we see this pattern a lot, including in South Africa, which sometimes involve killings. So we cannot erase that fact. But this is minute, and this should not have resulted into xenophobia. So lack of unity, political rhetoric, political failure too. Politicians are also, using the opportunity, using xenophobia as a focal point of their campaign in South Africa to speak against foreign Africans who are living. And we say foreigners, they are not fighting against non-black people. They're not fighting against white. The largest landowners in South Africa are white. These black South Africans are not fighting against them. They're fighting mainly against black Africans. So there is a pattern of inferiority complex in that as well. And then the politicians want to use opportunity to say that, okay, see Nigerians, Zimbabweans, Malawians, Ghanaians, they're coming here to take our jobs. If you vote for me, I will make sure they are expelled. These rhetorics, gives people encouragement to launch xenophobic attacks against other Africans, and that is the pattern we are seeing right now.
Okay.
So, and it started far back, not just recently. It's been there for like 2008, 9, 10, up to this moment.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, to you now, Dr. Oyegbile. So, what does this mean for African unity, or is African unity a mirage?
Yeah, I want to say that the situation in South Africa is a very, very unfortunate event because what they are doing, they are not fighting against foreign nationals, let me put it that way. Because if you talk of foreign nationals, Africans are not foreign in Africa. Africa is one. It's only a colonialism that divided Africa into states for their own administrative convenience, not for the convenience of Africa. So in that line, as my colleague has said, what is happening in South Africa is that they are fighting against blacks, not even the white people. And this is very unfortunate. This casts my mind back to my university school days. I belong to several forums that Africans Against Apartheid and all those groups that we had in secondary school and in the university. And I remember that in 1987, 88 or so, I can't remember actually the time, I was then an undergraduate at the Bayero University in Kano, and the then Prime Minister of UK, Margaret Thatcher, visited Nigeria, and she visited Kano. We as students, we left our campus. The Emir of Kano was to host her. We left our campus to go and protest at the Emir's palace that we did not want the Emir of Kano to host a supporter of apartheid. We were blocked on the way. The police blocked us and they did not allow us to go. We were, as students, we were agitating that no, we must go. We don't want her in Nigeria. We don't want her in Kano, all this and that. We were going. The police blocked us. They threw tear gas and let us. Many of our students were wounded, and yet some still got their way to the Emir's palace. And I remember a colleague of mine, a broadcaster, and I won't mention her name, was one of those who got near to the palace, and while the Emir and the Prime Minister was standing outside, she threw a raw egg on her. So now, all just because we are fighting for the sake of Africa, is either South Africans don't teach their history and let their people know that, look, the black Africans fought seriously for the benefit of your country. Even if all countries were going to be treated the way South Africa has treated black Africans, it shouldn't be Nigeria. Nigeria is far away from South Africa. Nigeria became a frontline member state because Nigeria spent a lot of money to fight for the liberation of South Africa. So it's either the South Africans are ingrates or their leaders don't have a sense of history. And this is not to say that those who are there, who are criminals. Nigerians or any African that are criminals should not be dealt with. But there should be a drawing line. Because what is happening now is either you are a criminal, a business owner, or employer or employee or whatever, they drove everybody away. And it's not even when you want to drive them away, you don't dehumanize people. But what they did is total dehumanization. It is very, sometimes I now look back and say, oh, assuming any of us have been killed by the police that day, that means we lost our life for nothing. And I still also remember, even as undergraduates, there are many South Africans who came to Nigeria, black South Africans who are students in Bayero University, in fact, universities all over Nigeria, who are students, and they were coming here free of charge. Most of them even enjoyed more than we that are national, because our government kept giving them allowance. They gave them money, they gave them scholarship, they give them allowance every month, which we as students and Nigerian students don't enjoy. So it is a case of ingratitude. If you want to send people away from your country, there should be a delineation. Oh, these are criminals, these are this, these are that. I've been to South Africa several times. It is not a country I want to visit unless it is essential. Because every Nigerian or every black man they see there, you are articulate, they look at you with suspicion. They don't want you to, they think you want to come there to take their job, or you want to take their women, because they are not as outgoing and as free as Nigerians are. Especially when you go to the issue of women now, they complain that Nigerians are taking their women. Of course, South African men, without being meaning to be insulting, some of them don't like to work. And those of them who work, they don't want to take care of their children and their wife. But Nigerians, a man will take care of his wife and his children. So these are things that make South African women to want to marry Nigerians or other Africans, and therefore they are getting jealous. The real cause of it, I think Nigeria also must define its foreign interest. We have done a lot for Africa. We have done a lot for the world, but the world keeps paying us back in a bad coin. Nigeria fought apartheid all over the Southern Africa. Nigeria spent a lot of money. Don't forget, part of the reason why they alleged that General Murtala Mohammed was killed was his speech in Angola, where he said Africa has come of age. We will not allow anybody to dictate to us, that Africa must dictate to itself. Some people allege that message was a message sent to the superpowers that they cannot dictate to us, because most of them supported apartheid, either openly or clandestinely. So it is so sad that this kind of thing, they are allowing it to happen. Africa should be without borders. Yes, you can create a situation where people who are criminals will not come in, or you take care of criminals. But I should not be afraid to go to South Africa while an American, a European, or people who supported apartheid or are allowed to be free.
Okay, so let us now look at
what is the essence of African Union?
I mean, you just, with what you have ended with, you have actually preempted my next question, really. Let's also take a look at the deafening silence, really, that has greeted this wave of attacks that we have seen, really, in South Africa, from the different governments of the countries affected, and even the different unions, really, in the region, particularly African Union. What do you make of this silence, really? Most nations, rather than speak, really, or take decisive action against South African interests in their own country, they rather just secretly go to South Africa, evacuate their citizens, and bring them back home. I mean, without really making pronouncements or declaration or even taking actions really against South African interests. What do you make of these?
Okay, thank you very much. I think one of the most difficult parts of international politics is the diplomatic missions. Diplomacy is always often taken as the best means, and that is why we, the people who are just spectators, we might not know exactly what the government is doing to tackle this kind of situation. For us, we are agitated. We feel like they're killing our people, they're destroying businesses, legitimate businesses, and they are forcing people that have toiled and worked very hard for years to leave their hard-earned money. And then we are sad. We want government to take immediate action. For example, now we have some big companies in Nigeria that are owned by South Africa. MTN, for example, one is owned by South Africans. DSTV, what do you call them? They are owned, DSTV, GoTV, these companies, they are owned by South Africans. And these companies employed thousands of Nigerians. Or let me not exaggerate, let me say hundreds of Nigerians. So the government will be looking at, if we are to take an action against the interests of South Africa and Nigeria, then what happens to our citizens who are working and earning their livelihood through these industries owned by South Africa? So it is a dicey situation for the government, and then they have to work behind the closed doors. But of course, what needs to be done also is to communicate with people, with the citizens, as regular as possible, so that we know that they're doing something. Okay, people that are learned and are informed about international politics will understand that the government will never be silent about these things. They are certainly working. And that's why we see this evacuation, taking our people back to Nigeria. I think at the moment, the Nigerian government has brought over 1,000 Nigerians back from South Africa. We have close to 35,000 Nigerians working in South Africa. So there's still a lot over there. Okay. So our government must look at the best ways, the best means to ensure that our relationship with South Africa is not ruined and our people are not thrown into difficulty as a result of the situation that we're facing.
Okay, Dr. Olayenka Oyebile. So still on that, Senator Adams Oshiomhole has been quite vocal, calling for retaliatory attacks, particularly hitting the South African companies. And he argued that the Nigerian government can fully nationalize these South African companies. Are you in support of that?
Well, as my colleague has rightly pointed out, I don't think that is the issue that should occupy our attention for now. I want to take a saying from one of Immortal Chinua Achebe's book. He said, if you are swimming naked in the river, in a pond, and you have your clothes by the riverside, and a naked madman comes and cuts away your clothes. If you jump out of the river and continue to chase the madman, the two of you are naked. You are shouting your clothes. People will not be able to discern who is the madman between the two of you. So I don't support that Nigeria should do tit for tat, at least for now. Diplomacy should be employed. And the diplomacy I expected Nigeria to have done is to immediately call on the African Union. The African Union should be the arbiter between Nigeria and South Africa. Because what we need to tell them is this: look, Nigeria and other African countries have done a lot for your people. This is not the way to repay their labor of love. If we have criminals in your country and they have been apprehended, we will gladly receive them and come and punish them at home, or if you punish them, you repatriate them, fine. That is what America has been doing of recent. Just yesterday or so, they published the names and pictures of about 127 Nigerians who have flouted their laws and they are in prison, and they said they are going to repatriate them back home. Yes, this is okay. But for me, I don't support complete nationalization or takeover of South African country and companies in Nigeria. One, because yes, they are largely owned by South Africans, but majority of those who work with them are Nigerians. And the country, the way we are now, we should be looking for foreign investors. We should be looking for people who will come and trade with us or work with us. So we should not focus on what they have done. If South Africa is behaving like the madman that came to the riverbank to cut away our dress, we shouldn't jump out of the river and start chasing in our nakedness. So I think Nigeria should explore all diplomatic means, especially through African Union. I'm surprised that the African Union, or did I miss it? I'm surprised that the African Union itself has not issued any statement. It wasn't like this when it was Organization of African Unity, OAU. By now, statement will have come out and there will have been missions to South Africa to liaise with them that, look, okay, what exactly? Even I'm disappointed in the act of the South African president. He has not proved himself to be a worthy African leader. I mean, as a union leader in those days and a fearing union leader, one thought that he knows what he's doing. But he hasn't said much. He hasn't acted much. People are going around killing and turning people, tearing their clothes on the streets and questioning them. There was even a video of one where they stopped someone and they were questioning her that she's not a South African, she says she's a South African. And they had to, after almost harassing her all the way, they spoke the language to her. Luckily enough, she could speak some part of the language, and she spoke the language. That was when they now believed that she's a national. Why has that happened? And you see in this situation, you see that even foreigners, I mean white guys, stand by and were looking and laughing. These are people, the perpetrators of apartheid. Did they read their history? Did they read their literature? Did they read what apartheid, the damages apartheid raised on them? And what Africans did? What African contribution of Africans to their struggle, both in literature, both in politics, and so on and so forth. Their former, 2 or 3 of their former presidents were refugees or accommodated in Nigeria.
Vaguely, you are saying that the government is complicit. The government of South Africa is in a way complicit.
I believe so. I believe so. And it's very, very unfortunate.
Now, this,
very, very unfortunate.
Now, this has not just started. In 2000, we had a cycle of xenophobic attacks, and we've always been recording it. In 2008, we had riots, something which was related to xenophobia. 2015, we had it. 2016, we had it. 2017, also, we had it. But according to reports, it said that between 1999 and 2018, no less than 118 Nigerians have actually lost their lives in South Africa. And when you look at these individuals, you'll be talking about fathers, mothers, parents, children. Sometimes they are breadwinners to their family, and then their lives just cut short like that, and their families are left to mourn their loss. Do you think, as a country, let's even forget about other African nations, let's face Nigeria, do you think as a nation we are learning our lesson really from experiences like this?
Well, there's a lot for us to learn as Nigerians from these current xenophobic attacks in South Africa. Dr. Lanyika has said a lot in that regard, but I would like to add that lessons that we can learn and take seriously as Nigerians. Number one is the fact that our nation has to be developed. Our politicians, our leaders in government, they must do more than they're doing to ensure that our people are comfortable at home in Nigeria. If Nigerians are going to go to abroad to seek a greener pastures, should be nations that are far, far ahead of Nigeria. Nigeria is giant of Africa. Like Doctor said, we are not just giant of Africans because of the name or because of our number, but because we are the big brothers. We are the big brother in Africa.
Okay, Dr. Idris, you may have to hold your thoughts. We need to observe this commercial break. We'll be right back to the house.
And the best student in basic digital literacy is Jadin. Very good. And the best student in kinesthetics is Jamil Lawal. The best student in robotics is Tiara Kolawole. This award goes to the most punctual student of the entire school. And the winner is Lisa Solomon.
Something is telling me that she makes her daughter skip breakfast just to be here.
You people could have just asked.
I would have been happy to tell you my secret.
Enjoy instant goodness with John Vent's 3-in-1 chocolate. The quickest start to your morning.
Yeah, glad to know you're still there. Well, Dr. Idris, you can continue from where
Yes, thank you very much. As I was saying, our government in Nigeria has to do more. They are working. They have to do more to ensure that the country is comfortable for Nigerians, particularly youth, so that the longing to go abroad, to go for what we call a greener pasture can reduce. That's number one. Number two is that we have to take a leap from what's happening in South Africa, because one of the things that is, fueling these crises are the rhetoric, things that people say against other Africans. And if you look at what happened in Rwanda, it started that way as well. And we already see signs of that in Nigeria as well, overgeneralization, picking up on people and then tagging them with certain names, stylishly or systematically building a threat towards a certain group of people, other tribes in the country. This is something we have to really, really, fight. It started in South Africa and even to today, Nigerians and other African nationals are suffering there. But it is gradually coming to Nigeria, because now, if you look at social media, look at the way our youths, and also youths, except for our fathers, if you see the way we take these issues, the way we attack one another over tribal issues, religious ethnicity, tribalism, religious, bigotry and all of that, we have to learn that as Africans, just like the doctor said, we are one family. As Africans, we are one family. These artificial borders created by colonialists, it is ruining us. And then as Nigerians, if Africans have no boundary, then what about Nigerians? Nigerians should not have boundary. We should be able to treat ourselves as one family. If we do not do that, we are damned. We will not be damned. So Nigerians have to learn that we must take lessons from that. We have to stop this rhetoric against people of other faith, people of other ethnicity, and all. So that is the second thing I believe we need to take from this. And the third thing is that Nigerians are, enviable people. We are thriving, not just in South Africa, we are thriving in Europe, in America. The largest, one of the most educated groups in America today are Nigerians. Nigerians are thriving, we are professionals. So we need to continue to work on that. As Nigerians, we need to take the lead, not just by our numbers. The government is doing that. We also have to do ours. Nigerian citizens must learn to be responsible, not just here, but also abroad. Many Nigerians, when I traveled out of the country recently to Malaysia, I was in a vehicle that was driving. It was a very long queue, and I didn't see anybody trying to overtake the other person. Everybody was on the queue, straight line. No matter how long it took, nobody was trying to outsmart the other person. Then I said, why can't we do this in Nigeria? In those countries, you never see a person drink water from a can and then just dump it on the road. You never see a person stand by the roadside and then start peeing. There are places for smokers. If you want to smoke, don't smoke there. This responsible citizenry, we need to learn it in Nigeria. Nigerian citizens must learn to be, if you are more you have to be, of course, if you are responsible, we will be respected. So we must imbue about the culture of being responsible wherever we are, not just abroad, but also in Nigeria. If we are responsible in Nigeria, we take up our country, we do our duties as citizens, then others would like to come to Nigeria as well. We wouldn't only be the ones rushing out of the country and saying we want to go because that country looks like paradise. We can make our own country paradise as well, and that's what we should do. Thank you.
Okay. So, Dr. Lainka, now, this is not the first time this would happen, not the second, not even the third. And last year, July 2025, we also saw in Ghana, some Ghanaians protesting and asking Nigerians to leave. There are Nigerians in Ivory Coast too, doing business, doing so well. So how can Nigerian government protect the interests or the businesses of Nigerians abroad, particularly in African countries?
The government has a lot to do, and also we as citizens, we also have a lot to do. For one, if we make our own conducive and all facilities are available in Nigeria, or some of them, a few of those who travel abroad will not do so. But you will also ask me, is America, is UK, and the rest of them, are they not developed? Why are their citizens going to African countries that are less developed and all that? By nature, human beings are migratory animals. Migration is part of life. If you read the Bible, if you read the Quran, you read the Torah, you read every world religion, literature, man is created to migrate, to move from one end to the other. So we cannot tell people not to migrate. However, in migration, we need to let people know that if you don't have reason to move, please don't move. There is no greener pasture anywhere. I see that the greener pasture we are going to look for are created by some people. Although we might say that our political leaders or the political situation in Nigeria has sort of closed that door or restricted that opportunity, but be that as it may, everyone that is going abroad must be focused. What exactly do you want to go and do abroad? And Nigeria can help in this by making sure that our embassies, our high commissions, and so on abroad, they keep a record of Nigerians who migrate or who go abroad. This might be difficult because one, most Nigerians who move abroad don't think they need the embassies or our consulate or whatever it is called are there until they get into trouble. You move into a country, nobody records that you are there. The day you get into trouble and you are crammed in prison, you start calling on the Nigerian government to come and save you and all that. No, that is not responsible citizenship. What is important is that when Nigerians move abroad, they should make sure that they move and obey the laws of the land. And our ambassadors or our representatives too also need to liaise with the communities. There is a way you liaise with the communities. When you liaise with the communities will be the one to let you know when a new Nigerian gets into town. So they can reach out to such people. Oh, we heard that you are here. What did you come to do? What do you need? How can we assist you? Not financially. It may not be financial. Assistance doesn't have to be financial. Assistance could be, okay, you are here. Are you here legitimately? Okay, you are not here legitimately. Why did you come here? What do you want to do? Okay, we can show you what to do to be a legitimate resident and all that. So Nigerian consulate to go also out to do that. Other countries do that for their citizens. So we must also do that and appeal to our citizens to also behave very well. As I said earlier, I've been to South Africa several times, and in all honesty, there are some Nigerians there that you will not want to associate with. In fact, you will never want anybody to know you are from the same country, because they are into drugs, they are into crime, they are into all this. So even when I met a particular guy somewhere, we met at the supermarket, and while we were talking, I was asking him what he does. He couldn't come straight to tell me what he was doing. And lo and behold, he wanted to come and visit me in the hotel, but I told him, oh, I won't be available. We are going to be busy throughout the day, because I don't know the kind of job he does. So we must make sure that those who are going, even if it is trading you want to go and do it legitimately. If it is you are an artisan, we have in Nigeria, we have a lot of Togolese, we have a lot of Benenois who are artisans here. So are Nigerian bricklayers or artisans complaining that they came to took their job? No, because they behave themselves. So Nigerians too, wherever they are, we must behave ourselves. Some Nigerians are too loud. When you sit with them, even when you are flying with them, you will definitely know they are Nigerians. The way they will be shouting, the way they will be talking, and when they get to any environment, the way they throw themselves around, even if they are not wearing Nigerian dress, by their look and their behavior, you will know these are Nigerians. So we need to also learn to live within the law. South African has gone beyond his bounds, but Nigerians too, obeying the law of the land. We must endeavor wherever you are. Don't come to my house to dictate to me where you want to sit or how I should serve you. I should be the one to tell you this is what I want you to do in my house. So you can't go to a person's country and want to dictate what you do. Doctor was talking about going to Malaysia. When you are on the road, everybody queue up. Even if one thing you look at is in Nigeria, when Nigerians travel abroad, at the airport we all behave ourselves. Everybody follow the queue and so on. But immediately we land in Nigeria, the Nigerian character takes over. People don't want to queue up, they want to be served before others and all that. So Nigerians too, we must behave ourselves as much as South African another national might have been overbound in what they have done. Nigerians too must behave. We must behave ourselves. We should not be the one that will be easily, when there is a crime, they say, it's a Nigerian. When you see 5 criminals, you see 3 are Nigerians. I mean, the few bad eggs are giving the larger good ones bad names.
Okay, thank you. Now back to the studio, Dr. Idris Oni. For Nigerians who invested legitimately in South African company, in South African economy, for those who had businesses there who were documented, migrants, now they've left. Maybe a form of compensation. How should they be integrated here? Because how you spend so much in a country, maybe you won't have assets in South Africa. Then one night you have to leave, you were chased away from the country. So shouldn't the South African government pay some form of compensation?
Yes, thank you very much. The South African government must take responsibility for these xenophobic attacks, and our government must ensure that they do that. The African Union has been docile, not doing as much as they should be doing, because this normally should not be happening. African Union is supposed to protect Africans wherever we are in Africa and even beyond Africa, okay? So that no one cheats the other. This is cheating. I saw a video of a Nigerian who has a very big supermarket. He said he has lived in South Africa over a decade. He has employed a lot of people. In fact, most of his workers are South Africans. And these guys were telling him that, well, we don't care, you have to leave. It's okay, if you ask me to leave, then pay me for the entire thing. I will go. So you're not going to pay you, but you have to leave. Okay, all right, I will leave. Can I appoint somebody to take care of, to be in charge of this place so that I can facilitate from abroad? No, just have to leave. Don't take anything. So you understand that these guys are not just coming after Africans. They are coming after businesses, wealth that other Africans have built in South Africa. So it is not only an attack against us, it's an attack against our wealth, our resources. Our government must do the needful by protecting us where we cannot protect ourselves. So, and that is why I want to emphasize that I'm not a politician, I cannot say, I'm not in government, but I hope our government and the representative of government are listening and are saying this, is that no Nigerian should lose his or her hard-earned properties to South Africa and come back home with nothing as a result of these xenophobic attacks. The Nigerian government brings people back home and then they give them an amount of money to settle in. But is this enough? So our government must take a further step by ensuring that they take proper record of what every Nigerian that is sent back home has legitimately in South Africa. Of course, the Nigerian has to be a legitimate migrant. What he or she has amassed must be legitimate, lawful. If this has been ascertained, our government must find a way to ensure that South African government pays so that this wealth can go back to those who have truly harmed them. If a person has worked out in a place, they should not lose what they have worked out for.
Now, let's probably I would say that the rest of Africa should not play saint in this situation because at some point we once had the Alien Compliance Order in Ghana in the 60s, where in fact this was an order, a decree or a legislation by government asking nationals to leave, other people from other countries to leave. And then we should not also forget back here in Nigeria, the Ghana must go era. In fact, we were told that Ghanaians were doing fantastically well in Nigeria. They were teachers doing fantastically well. Part of our best hands. Part of the best hands we had in Nigeria as of that time. But we had the Ghana must go, thing, and most of them actually found their way out of the country. So we should not play saint here. But again, we know that of South Africa has actually become a recurring decimal. It has actually been happening over and over again. But let us take a look at how this division in Africa, what it portends for the region, as a matter of fact. We all know that united we stand. We all know that divided, there is little we can do once we are divided. But united, there is nothing we cannot do. So what does this division, what does it portend really for the continent?
Yeah, I think the fathers of Pan-Africanism like Nkrumah, Seketure and the rest of them will be shaken in their grave if the dead can see or feel, because this was not their vision of Africa. You mentioned what happened before when Nigerians sent Ghanaians packing and all that. Yes, it has happened before. Maybe we could look at that as a period of perhaps ignorance or something. But in the 21st century that we are in now, the world is largely without borders. People are only confined to their borders physically. We have now people who relate across borders. What we are doing presently is a sign of it. Some 20 or so years ago, if I have to participate in your program, I have to leave my house in Ota and drive to Abeokuta. But now I'm in Ota, participating in the program. We are broken barriers. You can place a call to the United States, you can place a call to anywhere now. So the world has broken down.